All right, boys and girls, this is our last science lesson in the weather unit, lesson 8, page 206. How can people reduce extreme weather damage? Extreme weather can be very dangerous. As you have learned, Earth's atmosphere is always changing and moving. Events like tornadoes, thunderstorms, and hurricanes will continue to happen. People can do things to protect themselves and others. Page 207. Scientists investigate storms. You have learned about many kinds of storms. Some are dangerous. Storms won't stop coming, but people can learn more about them. Scientists study storms to help keep people safe. For example, scientists study tornadoes. They use radar. They observe thunderstorm clouds. Scientists study wind speed and direction. By studying weather, scientists have found patterns. There are certain wind patterns that tend to form tornadoes. In the spring of 2013, meteorologists predicted a tornado would hit near Oklahoma City. They put out a warning. People had 16 minutes to get to safety. Warnings like these save people's lives. Scientists keep studying tornadoes. They hope to find ways to warn people sooner. So boys and girls, that's why they will say there's a tornado watch. Have you noticed that sometimes it's a watch and sometimes it's a warning? If it's a watch, it means that, like it said here, certain wind patterns tend to form tornadoes. So if they see those wind patterns, they would warn the city and say, look, the weather is just about right for a tornado. We don't see one, but we're watching really close. That's a tornado watch. A warning is that there is a tornado spotted. Someone actually saw one. Okay? So that's why they do that, so that people can start preparing, and you know, if you happen to be outside or you're on a hike or you're on a bike ride, you can get home. Okay, 208. Engineers help reduce storm damage. You have learned about thunderstorms. You know that lightning strikes can damage trees, buildings, and other objects. Lightning usually strikes the tallest or highest objects in an area. Lightning rods. Engineers design new things and improve on old ones. Some engineers design lightning rods. Lightning rods are structures that protect objects from lightning. A lightning rod is always taller than the objects around it. That way, lightning will strike the rod and not the other objects. A lightning rod can protect a house. The metal lightning rod stands up on the top of a roof. The rod is connected to a wire that goes into the ground. When lightning strikes the rod, electricity moves safely to the ground through the wire. Electricity moves through the rod wire instead of going through the house. I knew someone one time whose, I think it was their fence was hit by lightning, but the fence was attached to the house because they had a dog, and so they wanted every little bit to be contained. And it blew out their TVs, it blew out their computers, it blew out all kinds of stuff inside their house when it hit the fence on the outside of the house. Page 209, testing lightning rods. That is an interesting little contraption there in that picture, isn't it, boys and girls? Testing lightning rods. Engineers design different kinds of lightning rods. For big buildings, engineers might use many rods together with wires connecting them. When lightning strikes anywhere on the building, it moves along the rods and wires to the ground. Engineers make models of their designs. The model rod and buildings are smaller than the real ones, but they are made of the same material and are the same shape. The engineers test their models to see if they work. Where do they get the lightning? Engineers build artificial lightning machines to create the electricity. This can be dangerous, but engineers know how to do it safely. They test the model to find out if the rod works as it should. If electricity is not carried to the ground safely, then the design has failed. New materials or a new design are needed. Page 210. Communities help reduce storm danger. Suppose a hurricane is predicted to hit your town. What are some ways that you can stay safe? Hurricanes and other storms can affect many people, but people in a community can work together. They can plan ways to stay safe during storms. Some communities set up shelters at schools, hotels, or other places. Shelters are safe places to stay during a storm. Shelters store food and water. They have a place for people to sleep. People stay in shelters until the storm is over. Sometimes it's unsafe to return home after a storm. In 2005, when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, Louisiana, many residents had to leave their homes. Because the flooding was so bad, many could not go home right away. Some had to stay in shelters for months. Extreme weather is dangerous, but people can help each other through the problems. All right, boys and girls, so that's our third grade study of weather. Okay, so go ahead and fill out your comprehension sheet. Get your answers right from the book. You're going to use that packet to study for the test, and that test is going to be coming up next week. So you might want to start reading that over. Maybe if you just read each one of those pages, maybe one time every day for the next couple days, that might be one of the great ways to study. Remember how we talked many times about how we don't just study the night before a test, that we try to at least plan on 2 nights before the test, and maybe even a little bit before that, so that we don't have to cram all that in our brain right before the test. We take a little bit of extra time. Okay? So just start thinking about that. For now, work on your comprehension paper, but start thinking about how that test is coming up. So if there was something in particular that you found a little bit confusing, you might want to reread that. Okay? All right, I'll talk to you later.